A skinny black kid was getting chewed out real bad in a musty old classroom in Orlando, Florida, branded as a time waster heading nowhere. But in the end, that same kid's paper airplane soared farther than anyone imagined, earning him a golden ticket to the future. Picture this. It's a humid Tuesday afternoon at Rivercrest Middle School, the kind of day where the air's thick as syrup and the ceiling fans only swirl hot air around. 13-year-old Marcus Taylor is parked in the back of room 203 near a window streaked with grime, busy crafting his fourth paper plane of the day. He's not loud about it. Marcus has never been a show-off. Just quick. Sure hands working a scrap of lined paper under his desk while Miss Patterson's voice drones on about fractions, chalk, squeaking on the board. His desk is covered in old carvings from past students, and the big magnolia tree outside seems to wave him over like it knows he's got bigger dreams than this. Marcus isn't lazy. He pulls decent grades, keeps quiet. Yes, ma'am, always ready. But folding planes is in his blood. He's been at it since he was little, sitting with his mom, Deanna, on the front stoop of their cramped duplex, watching them glide over the chipped sidewalk. Today, though, he's in the zone, perfecting the creases of his plane. Ms. Patterson spots him, and she's a tall woman, maybe pushing 5'11", but feels bigger. Stiff cardigan wrapped tight, hair in a severe bun that looks painful, and glasses perched low on her nose as if she's constantly judging everyone. 30 years teaching, and Marcus swears she spent most of them ticked off. She stops in mid-sentence. Something about reducing fractions spins around and zeroes in on him like a hawk. The room hushes, that heavy, awkward hush where you can hear someone's pencil rolling off their desk. Marcus Taylor, she snaps, stalking down the aisle. Head swivel, and Marcus freezes, plain, half-folded in his lap. She snatches it up like it's contraband, holding it at arm's length between pinched fingers, as though she's showing off some dreadful exhibit. "And what is this nonsense?" she demands, eyes narrowed behind those lenses. "You're sitting here squandering my time and your own, fiddling with this foolishness when you need to be learning." Marcus's mouth goes dry. Heat floods his cheeks, but he keeps his eyes down, locked on the random doodles carved into the desk. She keeps going, crushing the plane into a pathetic ball. "You think this is all fun and games, young man? Think these little toys will do anything for you? You're just being undisciplined, plain and simple." That word, undisciplined, lands like a slap. A few kids snicker. Ethan Ramirez is the loudest, smirking like usual. Miss Patterson plows ahead. "I'm trying to teach you something that matters," she fumes, her voice rising. "Something that'll give you a decent future. And here you are daydreaming with scraps of paper." She tosses the wadded plane into the trash can. Thunk, like she's throwing away part of who he is. "I've seen 100 students like you," she continues, pointing a bony finger, messing around, thinking they're special. Well, that path leads nowhere, dropping out, flipping burgers, or worse. "Is that who you want to be, Marcus?" Her words hover in the thick air, loaded and harsh. No one snickers anymore. They just glance from her to Marcus, who's clenching his fists under the desk so hard his palms sting. He wants to shout that she's wrong, wants to say he was up until 1 a.m., studying flight angles by flashlight, while his mom worked a second shift at the nursing home. He wants to explain how he's read about the Wright brothers, about jets and thrust, lift, drag, concepts he's still piecing together. But he doesn't. Talking back won't change her mind. She's already decided who he is. Focus, she finishes, voice frosty, or live to regret it. Then she turns back to the board, chalk shrieking across it. The bell rings soon after, finally freeing him. Marcus scoops up his backpack and slips out, head down, her words echoing in his ears. Ethan shoulders past him in the hallway, muttering, "Nice plane trick, man." Marcus just walks on, past peeling lockers and the janitor's slow sweeping, out into the Florida heat. Home is a few blocks away, past the run-down corner store with the half-busted neon sign and Mr. Watts's barbershop, where he always greets Marcus with a "Stay smart, son." The duplex where Marcus lives with Deanna and his 7-year-old sister Zoe is small, with fading paint and a sagging couch. Deanna keeps it feeling like home, though. She's still in bright pink scrubs when Marcus arrives, stirring a pot of boxed spaghetti on the stove, hair in a messy bun from a long shift. "How was my boys' day?" she asks, giving him a weary but warm smile. "Fine," he mumbles, avoiding her gaze, and disappears toward the little alcove separated by a faded curtain that counts as his room. A mattress on the floor, and a plastic crate for his things. Zoe is sprawled nearby, coloring in some princess book, humming her own tune. Marcus steps around her to grab his favorite notebook. He doesn't breathe a word about Ms. Patterson. No point adding to his mom's stress. Deanna's been pulling doubles since his dad left years ago. Marcus has learned to keep small troubles from piling up. Late that night, when everyone else is out cold, Deanna dozing on the couch, Zoe in her bunk, snoring like a steam engine, he clicks on a flashlight and flattens a fresh piece of paper. Crease by crease, slow and deliberate, he shapes a new plane. Crisp nose, tight wings, testing the glide by letting it fly across the little gap of his room. It coasts smoothly and lands near Zoe's crayons, and a tiny grin lifts the corner of his mouth. She stirs, mumbling, half asleep. "You going somewhere, Marcus?" "Maybe," he whispers, and she smiles before rolling over. He doesn't realize it yet, but that plane is the beginning of something big, something Ms. Patterson will have to eat her words over. The next morning, there's a different energy in school. Principal Doherty calls everyone to the auditorium. A short man, round belly, but a big, booming voice. The bleachers fill, sneakers squeaking on the wooden floor. Marcus nabs a seat near the edge. Doherty claps his hands to hush the crowd. "Listen up, folks. We just got invited to compete in a national junior science expo being held right here in Orlando. The big highlights, a paper plane challenge. Furthest flight wins it all. The top prize is huge, and the winner even gets a summer internship." He waves a flyer. "Sign-up deadline's Friday. Who's game?" Ethan's hand shoots up. All cockiness. Others follow. Marcus hesitates, hearing Ms. Patterson's lecture in the back of his mind, but something stronger tugs at him. He raises his hand. Dougherty points and nods. "Taylor, you're in." Word travels fast. At lunch, Ethan struts around, bragging that his uncle's an ex-Air Force mechanic. "My plane'll dominate," he crows, flicking a carrot stick at Jared, who's always tagging along. Marcus just eats his turkey sandwich in silence, letting Ethan run his mouth. Marcus doesn't have some relative with fancy schematics, just a determined mom, a little sister who believes in him, and a stack of paper he's bent into something special. Every afternoon after classes, he hits the alley behind the duplex, sketching designs in his notebook, trying new folds while Zoe times the flights with a cartoon wristwatch. 3 seconds, she calls, when one plane spirals into a recycling bin. Keep going, he does day after day, messing around with angles, checking out library books about aerodynamics. Ms. Patterson's not impressed. She roams the classroom during work time, glaring at his doodles of wing designs, muttering, "Still wasting time on that silliness?" One afternoon, she grabs another of his finished planes, a design he's proud of, and holds it up. "Marcus, you think this is a science project? It's just a distraction. Your grades will drop if you don't get your head out of the clouds." She sets it back on his desk, with a look that says she's certain he's a lost cause. Ethan snickers. Marcus seethes but says nothing, wondering why she's so determined to crush him when he's giving more effort than half the class. Weeks go by, and Rivercrest Middle holds a local qualifier to choose its official representative for the National Expo. The gym is packed, students in the bleachers, teachers lining the walls. Deanna's there, Zoe tagging along, since she traded a shift to watch Marcus compete. He's got his latest plane, the Arrow, folded from heavier printer paper he begged off a teacher. Ethan's plane is flashy, bright red construction paper with taped edges that look like a weird craft project. Ms. Patterson sits at the judge's table, arms crossed, lips flat, as though expecting Marcus to fall flat on his face. Principal Dougherty lays out the rules. Each contestant gets 10 tries. Longest flight wins. Ethan goes first. His plane wobbles, catches a stray gust, and touches down at 18 feet. The crowd claps politely, and Ethan grins like a showboat. Marcus steps to the tape line, his palm sweating. He's rehearsed this throw over and over. A smooth flick of the wrist, a slight upward tilt. The arrow zips across the gym, gliding clean, and lands at 22 feet. Students cheer. Zoe hollers, "You got this!" Ethan tries again, hitting 19. Marcus does 23. The two battle it out. Ethan peaks at 20. Marcus answers with 25. Final throw. Ethan's plane crashes at 17. The crowd groans. Marcus takes a steady breath, aims, releases. The arrow slips into a perfect glide, almost floating. It touches down at 28 feet. The gym erupts. Zoe jumps up. Deanna claps so hard, her palms sting. Principal Dougherty beams. Miss Patterson's expression twitches, like something in her is shifting, even if she won't admit it. Marcus is moving on to the National Expo. That night, Deanna squeezes him in a joyful hug. "I knew you had it in you." She scrapes together enough for bus fare. Money's tight, but they can't miss this chance. 3 months later, Marcus and his mom and sister are heading to the Florida Institute of Technology campus. He's worked nonstop, testing new designs, reading about wind resistance, launching planes in the alley. Zoe helps name each one: Hawk, Swallow, Comet, cheering him every step. Ms. Patterson may roll her eyes in class, but that doesn't stop him. At last, April 8th arrives. The national contest unfolds on a broad lawn dotted with folding tables and teams from all over. Parents are snapping photos, and the tension is sky high. Marcus wears his best jeans and a well-worn t-shirt. His prized plane, plain white and neat, is carefully tucked into a folder. Ethan's around too, brandishing a gaudy contraption stuck with shiny stickers. Missed Patterson actually shows up. Deanna insisted she come, standing stiffly near Principal Dougherty. The rules are strict. 3 throws. Longest, single flight wins with a big scoreboard tracking it live. Round 1, Ethan's plane travels 30 feet, a decent showing. Marcus's arrow coasts a clean 34. Spectators start to buzz. Round 2, Ethan throws 32. Marcus responds with 36. People whisper, "Who's that kid?" Ethan's face darkens. Marcus stays steady, waiting for the final round. Ethan winds up, flings his plane hard. It catches a bad draft and slams down at 25. He stomps the grass, muttering. Marcus steps into place, hearts thudding. The breeze is calm, all eyes on him. He launches the arrow just right, letting it cut through the air as though it's alive. It sails on and on, far beyond the markers, finally landing at 41 feet. For an instant, it's dead quiet. Then cheering explodes. Zoe hops around, Deanna's cheering with tears in her eyes. The scoreboard lights up. Marcus Taylor, 41 FT, first place. He's floored as Dr. Jasmine Cole from NASA strides over with a microphone. "Marcus Taylor, you've just won the National Junior Flight Design Challenge. Brilliant work." The crowd whoops, while Ethan slinks away, sulking. Dr. Cole continues, "We'd like to invite you to our summer aerospace program at Kennedy Space Center. Full scholarship. Interested?" Marcus manages a trembling, "Yes, ma'am," blinking back tears of disbelief. Deanna hugs him so tight. He can barely breathe. Zoe's dancing like she's at a carnival, and Ms. Patterson stands there until Dougherty gently nudges her. She steps up, voice quiet, face less severe. "Marcus," she says, "I misjudged you. I didn't see your potential. I'm sorry." It's a plain apology, but it feels genuine. He nods. "Thanks, Ms. Patterson." Later, Ethan tries one last jab. "Lucky break, right?" Marcus just shrugs. "Hard work, man." Ethan scuffs off, lesson learned. Back at home, the neighborhood celebrates. Everyone's proud of the local champ. Mr. Watts drops by with lemonade. Zoe keeps chattering the tale until her voice crackles, and Diana hangs Marcus's certificate in a cheap but shiny frame. His name gleams in bold letters, proof positive he's more than just a nuisance with paper. When summer comes, Marcus boards the bus to Kennedy. Backpack stuffed, Deanna waving, Zoe shouting, "Bring me a rocket!" He's nervous and excited, ready to meet other budding engineers and learn from experts who've touched the stars. Now, folks at Rivercrest remember Marcus as the plane whiz, the kid who turned nothing into everything. Ms. Patterson ends up keeping one of his planes on her desk, a wordless tribute to what she almost overlooked. Ethan's toned down his bragging. Deanna scores a small raise at work. And Marcus? He's still folding, still dreaming, aiming higher every time. Because when you've tasted that kind of success, the sky itself feels like it's within reach. If this story stirred something in you, if you love seeing doubt get ground into dust, hit that like button. Share with someone who needs a spark. Drop a comment on who you're rooting for, and subscribe. More real tales on the way. people standing up, proving themselves, and winning.